her husband did not clap.
He did not.
At the Prime Minister's speech.
It's something else here every day in Canada. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. In today's top story here, we've got a guy out on bail. Not just any guy. This is India's most wanted terror lord is out on bail in Trudeau's Canada. That's right. That's how stupid our system is, that India's most wanted is walking free currently here in Canada. On top of that, we got some vintage clips of Stephen Harper debating Justin Trudeau, which is very interesting. It's all very much linked into what we're talking about here. It really contradicts it, as well as an old Liberal, I believe it was a fundraising event where Trudeau was talking about this stuff as well, where he protects these terror lords. This is what he ran on in 2015, is protecting terror lords. So let's jump into this.
A very warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. Let's dive into this segment with breaking inputs coming in from Canada. In fact, this is a CNN News 18 exclusive. Inputs brought in by Minister Manoj Kumar Gupta. In fact, we are learning that pro-Khalistan extremist and gangster Arsh Dalla has been granted bail on a surety bond of $30,000. Arsh Dalla, remember, was arrested in October in connection with a shooting incident in Ontario in Canada. And now we are learning that Arsh Dalla has been charged with illegal possession of arms and tampering of evidence. But the latest that we can tell you right now is that Dalla has been granted bail.
So let's just break this down a little bit first. This guy here that they're talking about, Arsh Dalla. So this guy took over for Hardeep Najjar when he was taken out. He became the face of the, what do they call it? The Tiger Force, Khalistani Tiger Force. Yeah, KTF. So he became the new face of it. This guy is linked to 50 cases of crime, recruiting youngsters via social media. He is one of India's most wanted terror lords from Punjab. India's put out an extradition request to bring this guy back, and instead he's let out on $30,000 bail and awaits his hearing. This is the guy just like 2 months ago. He was arrested in late October for a pew-pew incident with 11 serious charges, including illegal weapon possession, evidence tampering. This is a bad guy. A terror lord in Canada, yet he's walking around on bail. Are you kidding me? This is Trudeau's Canada, where terror lords have freedom.
Arsh Dalla is somebody who is on Indian agencies' radar. And in fact, Akanksha, Indian agencies informed the Canadian side about his presence on the Canadian soil for the first time. And in fact, there was a special request which was made under the existing treaty between the two countries to share the details regarding Arsh Dalla. In fact, Indian side did inform the Canadian side about his whereabouts, locations. 2 weeks back, we got this confirmation that he has been taken into custody.
So India shared information about this guy, where he was. He's involved in all these activities. He gets arrested. He gets put out onto bail. He's a Khalistani terror lord. India wants him back. Canada's not giving him back. Just lets him roam free on bail. Clearly, Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, they're protecting this guy. They're protecting Khalistanis. They want this movement to grow in Canada. This has to end. We have Khalistanis telling Indians they don't belong here. Isn't Trudeau's Canada awesome?
Indian skunk, we do not welcome you on land of Vancouver. We do not welcome you on land of freedom, land of Canada. Go back to your country. We just want to say.
Alrighty, this clown show continues.
He is out on bail. There is a surety bond of $30,000 that he has paid. Now, who has arranged this money for Arsh Dalla? We don't know. Which all forces in Canada.
Yeah, so they're saying they don't know who arranged the money. I do believe how he was released. He has to be accountable to someone, but still, he's walking around free until his hearing.
Large chunk of money, we really don't know. And in fact...
yeah, it's this here, surety bond. So a surety bond is a legally binding contract among 3 parties. The individual, the obligee, a party requiring the bond, the surety, the company who issues the bond, in this case, the government. The obligee is the someone who has to pay the bond and who's responsible for him. But regardless, our system's so stupid and broken.
There's a charge sheet which has been filed against him. Arsh Dalla and others were also taken into custody under various counts of illegal possession to tampering of evidence. There were serious charges which were pressed against him.
Tampering with evidence, multiple weapons, come on.
So the government of India is telling Manoj Gupta that Arsh Dalla gets bail, perhaps non-cooperation to the Indian side's request. And in fact, this is surprising also.
So Indian government will not be allowed to question this guy. This Khalistani that they want, they're saying he's a terror lord in India. Trudeau and the Liberals, oh, no, you can't talk to him. We'll just let him roam free on bail.
There was no chance which was given to the Indian side to question him also. Usually, that's the setup where Indian teams could have gone there and interrogate him about the existing transnational gang network between the two countries. But Indian side said that they will keep pursuing his case with the Canadian side because he is India's most wanted and perhaps...
Yes.
This guy's India's most wanted. Not even like just a guy on the list. India's most wanted criminal. And this broken system let this guy just roam free on bail. Indian government not even allowed to interrogate the guy. This is just unbelievable. Every day there's just something else that's just so stupid in this country.
That's the difference. But are you seriously saying, Mr. Trudeau, we never be able to revoke citizenship from somebody?
No.
Is that your position?
No.
Because we revoked the citizenship already of war criminals. And why would we not revoke the citizenship of people convicted of terrorist offenses against this country? This was a bill put forward. This was a bill put forward by a member of Parliament who is himself an immigrant, Devinder Shori. This is not the standards we expect. Immigrants, Canadians, all of us who are here expect that we would have a minimum bar that people would not, people who come here would not be guilty of trying to plan terrorist attacks against this country.
A Canadian is a Canadian, and you devalue the citizenship of every Canadian in this place. And
how do you call someone a Canadian who's only been here a year and then starts doing criminal activities? Terror lords like that need to be deported. They need to have their citizenship removed and kicked out. Canadians are people who contribute to our society, who welcome our culture and integrate with our culture, embrace our positivity and kindness and politeness, not terror lords like Justin Trudeau likes to protect.
in this country, when you break down and make it conditional for anyone, we have the rule of law in this country, and you can't take away individual if someone does.
The individual question, the individual question,
gentlemen, one moment, please.
is convicted of planning
should be
the most
in jail,
heinous
and
terrorist
that's where
crime
we
ever
are.
against this country. A few blocks from here, he would have detonated bombs that would have been on a scale of 9/11. This country has every right to
we are
revoke
not
the
a country
citizenship of an
dominated by
individual like
fear.
that.
We are a country of laws and rights.
Wow, we are not a country dominated by fear. We are now because of Trudeau. This was really a forewarning. He basically told us what he was going to do to our country. And we are not governed by laws and rights anymore. He doesn't obey the laws. Neither does his cabinet. And neither do all the criminals he's brought into our country. The budget will balance itself. Regarding a terror lord like this, it's out on bail. Are we really surprised? Listen to what Justin Trudeau said in 2015.
Happens to hold dual citizenship is absolutely disgusting. What are your views on it?
Yes. C-24, it's the bill that, for me, exemplifies the Conservatives' approach. Because what they get to say with the Liberal Party's staunch opposition to C-24, because we absolutely and thoroughly oppose it, is that, and I'll give you the quote, so you guys can jot it down and put it in a tack ad somewhere, that the Liberal Party believes that terrorists should get to keep their Canadian citizenship. Because I do. And I'm willing to take on anyone who disagrees with that. Because the question is, as soon as you make citizenship for some Canadians conditional on good behavior, you devalue citizenship for everyone. A Canadian is a
Disagree. If our citizenship is so valuable, it would entice people to not do stupid things like become terror lords. Why would we keep someone in our country that's a monster? And sure, even if they were put in jail, then taxpayers are going to pay for a terror lord to sit in jail? Our system's so stupid that we don't even have people in jail working. They should be working 9 to 5s, if not longer. They should have to work for every meal they get and the roof over their head.
Canadian is a Canadian. I mean, personally, I'm envious of new Canadians because I have no merit in being Canadian. It was an accident of birth. I got to be born here, and that's just what I am. New Canadians got to choose Canada. You got to choose to come to this country, or your parents chose to come to this country. And that's a very powerful statement. And the idea that we would say that we'll give you your citizenship, but for the rest of your life, you have to be on your best behavior. Now,
yeah, what's wrong with that? Why would we want people to come in and not be on their best behavior and start ending a bunch of people? Trudeau is unbelievable.
we can say best behavior, fine. You get a traffic ticket, we're not going to deport you. But that principle that says the government could decide that what you did means that you no longer get to be Canadian is a very, very scary one. And by the way,
it should be scary. That's what makes it valuable, is if they can lose it.
There are penalties for anyone convicted of a terrorism or an act of war offense against Canada. They end up locked up in jail for the rest of their lives.
This is hilarious considering the video I'm making here today where the guy's out on bail. India's most wanted terror lord out on bail.
And the idea that we might give them instead a plane ticket to Syria, it just doesn't quite fit that idea of cracking down on punishment for terrorists.
What should really happen is a person goes into a jail where they have to work for 20, 30 years. And then after they get out of their sentence and they've finished paying back our society, then they get sent back to Syria in this case of his example. We get value back from the person, then they get kicked out of our country.
That's why we oppose it.
These people should be made to do the worst jobs in our society that no one wants to do or are really expensive for our government to run. I keep mentioning it, cleaning out the sewers, whatever it may be, building stuff, digging ditches, highline workers, whatever. A job that can be trained to someone very easily, but it's something that would cost our government a lot of money to run. That's how we get value back from these terror lords, and then we kick them out after 30 years after their sentence is done. So next up, we got more of this fun stuff Trudeau's brought into our country. Costing taxpayers a lot of money having this much police resources out on the street. You think of how many gangsters and robbers and car thieves and all that the police could be trying to find, and said they have to deal with this. This costs us money, lots of money. Perhaps talking about stolen tax dollars while we're at it. Next up, we got this here. This is the author of Christy Freeland's book. They're planning on releasing her book in February, but because she got axed and then quit, they're releasing it now to cash in. So this is the author here speaking on CBC.
She went through some difficult moments right in her career in the Soviet Union, chronicling life in that communist country. I mean, your book is full of some great detail about what she has endured, and she is not a shrinking violet, as you say. That's perhaps why she had the chutzpah to go to the caucus meeting the night after resigning, go to those liberal Christmas parties in moments that might have been, for other people, awkward, uncomfortable. You know, they might not have felt up to it, and she waltzed right in.
And she gave him a hug, right? Because she's a hugger. But that's it. I think she, in the Soviet Union, you know, she was reporting on, she kind of caught the attention of the Soviet authorities because she was obviously pro-Ukrainian independence, and they castigated her in their newspapers, and they made up all sorts of things about her. And same when she worked at, there was a period where she worked at the Globe and Mail in the late 90s and early 2000s, and the Frank magazine, kind of a tabloid magazine in Ottawa at the time, would, you know, have these anonymous reports about her, calling her Britney, as in Britney Spears, because she was young, and talking about the tenor of her voice. And she's
Britney Spears, really? Come on. Christy Freeland is no doubt devious. She's worked her way all the way to the second highest position in Canada. She's a sneaky little rat who's taken advantage of every opportunity to get where she was. She still has to pay for her own crimes. Locking down bank accounts, her support of the Emergencies Act. This was already found by the court to have broken the law.
She's kind of been through the ringer on that. I think she lets it slide off her back for sure. She doesn't read what people are writing about her online. She doesn't Google it herself. So no, I don't think she would have felt awkward in that situation. Her husband, I read, did not clap.
He did not.
Yeah, so maybe that's a better indication that at the Prime Minister's speech, where she did. Yeah, she's like something that came across in speaking with people who know her is she she's never raised her voice, even in the most tense situations. I got this from people she negotiated with on the U.S. side and on the Mexican side during the NAFTA negotiations. She doesn't fly off the handle. She's measured. She's calculated. She's strategic.
Unfortunately, she's soulless too. Everything she's done to help Trudeau has hurt our country, has destroyed our country.
I'm at a loss for words, honestly. This week has been insane.
I know it has.
It has been insane. Will she be the new leader of the Liberal Party? Who knows? If she is, it won't change the numbers at all. If the Liberals actually put in someone new who's completely different, they probably get a tiny bump, a couple percentage points at most bump from people who are wavering because they don't like Trudeau, but they don't want to go anywhere else. Let's get real here, though. Christy Freeland's career is done, too. There you have it. Justin Trudeau protects the terror lords in this country. Are we surprised we have India's most wanted walking around in the streets? I'm not really that surprised. I mean, it's shocking, but I'm not surprised. Getting Pierre Poilievre in office cannot come fast enough.